Good morning, good morning, good morning. Pardon me. Good morning. Oh my goodness, we have people live. I'm so sorry I was 5 minutes late. I am just had a coaching session then, which was amazing. And we saw huge movement, and I'm so happy for her. And I was like, oh my God, fuck. I have this live stream that I need to get on. You've got very au natural, Selena. I've thrown on the same jump, I think, as last live stream. And I'm like, oh my God, I have gym hair, but we'll go on with that. I'm excited to chat today. I'm probably going to stay on for a little bit. If you guys have questions, please pop it in the chat. But I just want to ramble on a few things because I love manifestation. Manifestation is amazing. It's all I think about. Okay, so I want to anchor into hello. So good to see you. I want to anchor words, Selena. I want to anchor into the fact that you can never mess this up. You can never mess this up. Yes, there are ways in the 3D that we can handle ourselves and behave in a certain way that is going to require less cleanup, that is going to be not as messy. Like, you don't want to be, I don't know, screaming at your boss when you're trying to materialize a promotion or blowing up an ex partner's phone and calling them 50 times because you love them and miss them and you're trying to manifest this relationship. It's like, okay, we don't have to go to the extremes, but we don't also have to be like act super chill and act cool. You can authentically be yourself, especially when it comes to specific people. I feel like, especially as women, I'm going to say this as like just a general assumption. You're kind of told that, oh, you have to be the cool girl, you have to lean back, you have to not be pursuing, and you want them to always be showing interest. And it's like, yes, you can materialize that if you want. If that's the dynamic you want, amazing. But also, don't be scared to, if you want to be, pardon me, be a little warmer and you want to show, I don't know, you want to lean more forward than you normally do, great, amazing. That's the version of you want to be. Incredible. This is all working out for you regardless. I don't want you to feel like you have to act cold, play games, be distant in order to get what you want. Again, there's this balanced approach where it's like, you don't have to be acting super, super desperate and super, super clingy and always be initiating things. And then you get upset if the person can't, I don't know, doesn't want to accept the plans or can't make the arrangement that you have. But it's also, you don't have to act like a robot and be super cold and distant and pull back. It's like there's this nice balanced approach where you know that you're the version of you who's very comfortable just being you, authentically being you, and you get to decide that. You can never fuck this up. Even if you feel like you were acting super desperate, super clingy, or you feel like you were acting cold, acting distant, and now you're like, exactly, flow like water, just be you. I don't want you to ever think you fucked this up completely or you've missed your chance. That is not a thing. The more we continue in that story, that's what you're going to experience. So if you're that powerful, why would you decide to entertain that story and decide to keep persisting down that storyline, selecting that reality, selecting that version of you? It just makes no sense. Like, don't fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? This is a continual refinement of yourself. It's an evolution of self. So it's ridiculous to think you're constantly going to be acting the same way. It's like when you do this work, the whole point is for you to change yourself. So there might be a version of you at the start of the relationship, and then as you kind of go on or go along this manifestation journey, you're not that person anymore, and you've changed and you're more confident and you're more open. So just allow things to kind of unfold. It's all working out for you. I promise. I promise. So that was a big thing that we were speaking about in that coaching session was there's nothing wrong with sending text messages, initiating, doing what, like, if you want to do that, incredible. But do that from a space where you're okay with no matter what response you get, whether it's a blunt response, no response, a great happy response, a loving response, it doesn't matter because we're not using the 3D and basing that our decision of, oh, we can get what we want because of what we see in the 3D. So whether you get a shitty response or not, it doesn't fucking matter. I know I'm getting what I want. That's what you need to be doing. Why are so many vids about manifesting an ex? Not much about fresh people. I think because there's more of an attachment to an ex partner. Um, because people have had history, so there's more resistance. Whereas with a new person, usually you don't really have a story. So it might be easier to manifest in someone because you don't have a story about them. And then what ends up happening if your self concept isn't in alignment, if you are not showing up and deciding to be the version of you who's secure, this new person will very quickly end up an ex person. And then you're like, oh, fuck, now I really like them. I know how I fuck this up. So that's probably why. But either, whether it's an ex or it's a new person, it's the same process. It's all about you. Okay. What's something else that I wanted to riff about? Don't judge yourself if you're in a victim state. I feel like you can see it. You can smell it. You can see it when a client comes to you and they're like really distressed and really upset about circumstances. I had another coaching session at the end of last night, late last night, where it was they were very they she'd seen something in the 3D she didn't like, and she kind of decided, and I'm going to say deciding, she allowed that to ruin her day, allowed that to affect other areas that she was manifesting, allowed that one thing she saw in the 3D to cloud her judgment about everything else. Every other manifestation that was conforming, her whole day was fucked. So it's like, don't judge yourself when you're in the victim state, but just have this awareness of like, well, of course I'm going to have all these icky thoughts and feelings because I'm deciding to be a version of me who is a victim to current circumstances. I need to be brave enough to go, okay, let's drop this, let's calm myself down and get back to a neutral state at least. And then let's amp it up a bit more and go back to the state of the wish fulfilled, or go back to a happier, more confident, secure version of yourself. So it's like your individual thoughts aren't manifesting, it's the state of which you're residing in that manifests. And the whole day you're shifting states. So if you decide to be a version of you who is confident, secure, knows they're prioritized, your self concept's going to be different, your thoughts are going to be different, your experience is going to be different. It's going to be very different to when you're deciding to select a version of you that's in victim mode. So just be aware of that. You don't need to blame yourself, but you need to be aware that the reason why you're intimidated by circumstances is not because you're broken and not because you don't understand manifestation. It's because the state you're in. You're in a victim state. You're believing what you see in the 3D. So shift out of that state. It gets to be that simple. You get to make it that simple. Um, I wanted to mention, so it's like going back to what I was saying about the client from last night. It's a decision. I harp on about that you won't get this time back. So you're deciding to allow these circumstances to ruin your whole day, to ruin your morning. And this isn't about suppressing feelings, but it's about realizing that you get to decide whether that's going to intimidate you or not, whether you're going to feel sad about that, whether you're going to believe it. Like, you get to make that decision, whether that's going to ruin your fucking day. That's how powerful you are. You can change things like this. Something can be right in your face. You can decide that that is not the case, and that circumstance changes very quickly. Yesterday, focusing on my state, I had 5 manifestations come in instantly. Instantly. It was fucked. It was fucked. Stuff that I haven't had movement with for a while, one of them especially, bam. I was at the gym. I started thinking about it. And then I got an email in regards to it. I was like, wow, that was so fucking quick, because I decided that's who I was. I was the version of me who gets my manifestations very quickly, or I'm the version of me who has XYZ in regards to that desire. Just don't accept the circumstances. Don't be marinating in shit, and don't allow it to ruin your day. If you knew you were going to, God forbid, pass away tomorrow, then why would you ruin your day thinking about shit that you can change? You're hurting your own feelings. I said this on Instagram this morning. You're hurting your own feelings thinking logically whilst you're playing an illogical game, aka manifestation, aka conscious creation. You're literally hurting your own feelings. You're making yourself upset, anxious, nauseous, depressed, all of those feelings, because you're thinking logically when manifestation isn't logical. So many people, especially when they're new to it, think delusion is a bad word. Think about it. Goal setting is delusion. It's not here. We're aspiring to be something, to have something. Delusion. Being a visionary. Delusion as fuck. Like delusional as fuck. Like delusion isn't a bad word. I don't want people to think, oh, delusion means that like you're seeing things and like you're being unsafe. It's like, no, delusion is just believing in yourself and believing in something that's not currently here and not accepting what the 3D is showing you. It gets to be that simple. Again, decide, decide, decide. Sometimes when you feel like so many things are really triggering, it's like, okay, I need to come back to a more stable version of me. How can I do that? I need to utilize breath work, meditation, EFT tapping. I need to focus on a structure, a routine to my day so that I can drop the focus. That's what you get to do. And you're like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Some people might just be like, you know what, fuck this. I'm just deciding to shift my state. And they're able to just have a little bit of an inner conversation and walk their way back to a more beneficial state. I love manifestation. It's fucking incredible. It changes people's lives, especially when people in your 3D are reflecting your doubts and they're like, just, you know what, give up. This person's not interested or this job's not interested or like just drop it, like move on. And you're like, no, fuck you. I'm getting what I want. This is what I want. I'm deciding. And then you make it happen or you see changes and other people are like, how'd you do that? Yeah, because I know how to manifest. People always come around. When you show them evidence, people come around. Plus, they're just reflecting your doubts. Okay, I want to touch on something. Oh, should I touch on this? I've just got some of my YouTube video ideas up. I might briefly touch on it. So, hello. Okay, I'm going to briefly touch on this. You get to decide how you want to manifest. You get to decide your reality, your rules. You want to fucking affirm all day? Amazing. You want to just decide to shift your state? Amazing. You want to visualize? Amazing. Night tapes? Fucking incredible. Do what you want to do. And this is, and at the same time, because duality is a thing. I find some people think they have to be affirming all day long, all day long, all day long. Robotic affirming, robotic affirming. If that works for you, amazing, incredible, beautiful. If that allows you to change your state, do it. However, it can also get people stuck in this mindset of I have to work for my manifestation. If I'm not constantly thinking about my desire, I'm going to fuck it up. It's not going to come in. What happens if I stop thinking about my SP and I start thinking more about money? Then this SP is not going to come in as quick or not going to come in at all. I feel really overwhelmed because I have all these desires and now I have to robotically affirm. It's like you don't have to robotically affirm and reprogram your mind to get your manifestation. You can simply just decide to change your state if you want to. Okay. There are so many ways that you're changing your state. All these techniques, affirming, whether that's robotically all day, every day, whether that is in 5 to 10 minute segments, whether that is doing it 10,000 times, whatever it is, inner conversations, visualization, scripting, night tapes, all of those things, that's just to change your state. You can simply just be like, no, I'm the version, have an inner conversation where you're like, no, I'm the version of me who has XYZ. I'm the version of me who's always felt prioritized and loved. I'm the version of me who's always been making bank. Or I'm the version of me who I'm always the top, I don't know, salesperson of the month. Like it's about shifting your state, however you need to get there. So if you feel like you have to work for your manifestation, there are other ways of doing things. If you feel that if you stop robotically affirming, you're not going to get what you want, see how that's a limiting belief of actually you need to refine that and clean that up. So it might be this, you need to shift out of that, clean up that belief that you have to work for something. You have to constantly be thinking about it. It's like, no, you can decide how you want to manifest and allow it to feel fucking good. Allow it to be an enjoyable process. Allow it to change you within you. Like, feel it in you. Allow it to change your state. You want to get at least a sense of relief, if not happiness, when you think about what you want. Thinking about what you want and it doesn't feel good, change it. There's something amiss there. You're thinking about not having it. I intend that makes sense. I told myself at the end of another 90-day split at the gym that I would like to go to the beach and tan. And at the end of it, my aunt said she wanted us to come because her husband couldn't, so our rooms were completely free. Yay! We love free holiday manifestations. Well done. Well done. Too many do that constant affirming in the state of needing to see things now. It can cause major burnout too. I 100% agree. If you love it, amazing, do it. But if it doesn't feel good, don't fucking do it. Don't get scared that you have to affirm all day, every day. If you don't, you're not going to get what you want. That's a limiting belief in itself. There is a version of you who already has what you want. There is a version of you who knows that this is a thing. There is a version of you who doesn't even fucking robotically affirm at all. They just decide that this is who they are. Like, that's how you've been doing things all your life anyways. Like, you might affirm, like, you're having thoughts, which I guess are affirmations, but they're loose, it's casual, it's relaxed. You're that's the state I like to play in. I like it to feel like it's play. Keep it loose, keep it moving, keep it just kind of how I want to talk to myself, how I want to feel, because that's kind of my manifestation game, is affirmation slash inner conversations and just deciding this is who I'm being. I find I get the most movement when I am focusing it on me, that I'm the version of me who has this. I'm the version of me who's experiencing this, because then I can like really feel it in my body. I'm like, oh, this feels fucking good. This feels good to know that I'm getting what I want. This feels good to know that I have blah, 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 blah. I always just look at everything as an interesting bridge of events. I You said incidents, but I'm going to say events towards my manifestation. So see how like you get to decide. Like, I don't like to use the word incidents because for me that implies that something bad has to happen, like an incident, whereas I like to use the word events. So everything is just a bridge. Everything's just a bridge. You're 100% right. It's all working out. You can never fuck this up. You can never waste any time because you're focusing on you. It's all about you, which is amazing because then you always win and you never lose, and your manifestation is not fucking going anywhere. You never fuck this up. Even if you feel like you fucked up, it's like, okay, let's take a step back. Let's look at your approach. Let's see why you did this behavior or this action, and let's choose a different way of doing things. And let's come back to a calm and stable version of you. Again, calm and stable is very different from acting cool and acting distant and chill. It's like an embodiment. So, especially when it comes to an SP relation, like an SP manifestation, don't feel you have to play games, be petty with people, act cold, act distant. It's like, no, just be authentically you, be the stable, secure version of you. And naturally, you're just going to be chill. You're not going to have to act a certain way. I intend that makes sense. Hmm. People don't normally robotically affirm for the unfavorable. It's easy to affirm without knowing it. Yeah, because we're thinking all day. And that's amazing. Like, you're doing, I don't want you to think that, oh my God, I've stopped thinking about my manifestation, especially if you're in this mindset of you have to be robotically affirming. Again, if you want to do that, amazing, but you don't have to. I don't want you to be like, oh, fuck, now I haven't been affirming as much. Now I'm not going to get what I want. You're that powerful. That decision, deciding that, is going to be the case for you. So don't fucking do that. It's like where you never fully drop thinking about something. You still have that desire. So why are you freaking out about it? It just feels good to be thinking about what you want, you know? Like, if it feels good to think about what you want, then keep thinking about it. Keep seeing yourself or as that version of you and being in that reality. Like, how incredible is that? Manifestation is literally deciding what you want, continuing to think that you have it or you're going to have it. What an enjoyable process. And then it's going to push out and your 3D will recalibrate. I don't see how that's an arduous process. I don't see why you need to make it complicated. I don't see why it hurts to think about your desire. We need to address some things there if that's the case. Yeah, the Sabbath state is just knowing. It's just chill. It's just like, again, when it comes to, I'm not a Neville purist. I think he's incredible and his work's amazing. But at the end of the day, Neville was just a human. So you get to decide what you want to implement in your reality. Just as much as Neville has all his work, you can believe in Neville as much as you can believe in science and quantum physics, or manifestation is not a thing. Like, it's all up to whether how much you want to believe in something. You can take bits of everything and make your own beliefs. That's how powerful you are. So when you get into this Sabbath state, some people think, oh, Sabbath state means that, oh, you don't think about it, there's no affirming. It's like, for me, a Sabbath state is just a version of you who just knows, like, I'm good. I get what I want. And if I want to keep thinking about my stuff during the day, whatever my manifestation is, amazing, I will, because it feels good. It's just being a version of you who knows they're getting what they want or is having what they want right now. I guess to be that simple. And just continuing to return back to that version of you, return back to that state, return back to that decision, however you want to do that. Deciding, affirming, scripting, visualizing, inner conversations, night tapes, fuck all of it if you want to. Up to you. Your reality, your rules, your process. So that's why, like, when I speak to clients, because a lot of people come into this work already have like watching a lot of content, or they're not super brand new to law of assumption. It's like, okay, cool. Like, what's your manifestation game? What do you like to do? Okay, I can give you guidance as to how we can tweak it, but what do you like to do? Because I want this to be, you're doing this until you die. You want to be doing something consciously, doing something that feels good. Hey, I love your channel. Thank you. I always felt like I'm bad at social skills, especially small talk. I'm usually pretty awkward around people, even friends and colleagues. How do you manifest something that feels so alien to you? Stop identifying as that. Super, super simple. So I would combine the practical and the manifestation. So I would stop identifying as someone who is socially awkward, who's never been good at small talk, who, like, even around your friends, you're the odd friend, whatever story that is, like, drop it. Don't be identifying as that. It's like, no, I'm the version of me who is becoming more comfortable around people. I'm the version of me who loves being the center of attention, or is getting more comfortable with small talk. Or I'm the version of me, if you can get to the end, I'm the version of me who is always talking to randoms. I'm the version of me who's so good. Like, my conversation skills get better and better every single day. Like, however you want to phrase it. And then practically, it's like, okay, how can I put myself in situations where I kind of have to do a little bit of exposure therapy, and I am forcing myself, pushing myself, because, like, to be doing more, speaking to more people. For example, I knew that the version of me who is very confident speaking on camera, I was like, okay, I am going to do more lives. Any video I do, I'm not going to have a script. I'm going to be talking like transmission. It's all just coming from my head. Like, it's going to be one take. There's going to be no cuts or very little cuts. It's like I just kind of threw myself in there. I was like, okay, this is you now. Swim, do it. So that's what I would say to you. And then if you feel any anxiety around it, what can you use for your anxiety? Breath work, meditation, EFT tapping. Just continue to see yourself as that very chatty, talkative person who everyone loves talking to. Because remember, when it comes to conversations and social skills, you don't have to be the one who's always talking. If you're asking questions about the other person, people fucking love that shit. Like, if you're genuinely curious about other people, they'll think you're the best person in the whole room. Like, you don't have to be telling people all your business. Just be asking them, like, oh, hey, like, what are you doing here? What do you do for a living? Oh, like, where are you from? Like, and just be like, just genuinely curious. And you can chime in things here and there, like, oh, okay, amazing. Yeah, my mom's from there, or whatever. And it's just trying to find common bits with people and connecting. But the more questions you ask people and the more genuinely curious you are about other people, the easier it is to converse in a room full of strangers. Like, don't make it about you, make it about them from a practical standpoint. That's what I would suggest. And again, it's just practice and seeing yourself as that version. I intend that was helpful. Like, you don't have to, you get to decide how chatty you want to be as well. Like, you can be good at, I don't know, you don't have to be the center of attention to then deem yourself as good with, like, have good social skills. You can still be kind of quiet, but you're just very curious. Like, you get to decide what that version of you looks like and how you're acting and interacting. What time is it? 9:30 my time. So it's all about coming back to this, just making a decision with conviction, like really deciding. Like, manifestation really requires conviction and tenacity and just not giving up and being like, fuck this shit. I'm getting what I want. I know I'm getting what I want. I don't have to be battling up against circumstances. I can just be dropping the focus and deciding to be in a new reality, be a new version of me. I can decide to not be triggered by this. I can decide to not be triggered by this. Like, that's fucked. Most people go like, oh my God, I'm triggered. Da, 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 da. It's like, well, you're deciding to be triggered. Sorry, I love you, but you're deciding to be triggered. Let's be real. The same situation can happen to a million people, and we all decide our reactions and we all decide if we're going to take that personally. Just because someone is being a fuckwit doesn't mean I have to take that on, doesn't mean that means anything about me, doesn't mean I've manifested wrong, doesn't mean shit. If I want to clean up my thinking because everyone is a reflection of you, amazing. But if I want to be like, nah, that's your crap, this will fix itself, I'm just not dealing with that. You're actually going to apologize. Cool, great. um, you get to decide how much you're going to take responsibility for. You want to take responsibility for everything? Amazing. You want to take responsibility for only some things? Cool. Like, you don't have to take on everyone's stuff and see it as like something you've done wrong. And at the same time, you can also see everyone as a reflection of you. So therefore, no matter what they do, you don't have to be angry and resentful at them. You can be like, oh, well, I can change this. I can change you. In fact, in a fucked up way, it's not your fault you're acting like this if I'm thinking that you're this version. So, therefore, there's this element of forgiveness, of not taking things personally, and you get to find where that line is for you. Some people cheating, infidelity, it's a no go. I'm not recreating this. Fuck you. You're a piece of shit. Other people are like, you know what? I actually can see how how that was a reflection of my internal world. You cheated. There was infidelity because I was thinking you were a cheater. I was feeling not prioritized. I was thinking there were better options than me. I actually, as much as that was fucked up, what you did, forgive you, and I'm willing to recreate this. You get to decide what circumstances you want to persist through. It's going to be different for everyone. Seriously, like, I don't watch reality TV, but that whole stuff with that Tom and whatever, I don't know, the Vanderpump Rules stuff that like I see everywhere. It's so interesting how like people come with like freaking pitchforks against people who are cheating. And it's like, if anyone like just understood how reality works and how beliefs work and how to demonize like it, as much as the behavior is fucked up, we also have to realize that this is a creation of someone else's thinking. So not only did the people who were cheating have their own limiting beliefs, but the person who got cheated on also had their own limiting beliefs, and we co-created this experience together. So it's so interesting when people are like, I would never fucking cheat, like you're a dog, blah 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 blah. Like, to see that behavior is so like, to see humans behave like that and get so angry, so angry. People get more angry about cheating than they do about watching true crime and watching fucking pedophiles and all this shit, like with true crime and all this shit. People get more worked up about reality TV cheating than they do heinous crimes. Like, it's literally fucked. Not to excuse cheating, but also at the same time to realize that it's just so interesting that the reaction people have to it, but they're happy to go to sleep listening to a true crime podcast or watching it on telly. Fucking interesting. One time my car broke down and my insurance didn't cover the tow. Instead of going crazy, I took a walk down the street and said, I'll be fine. I walked right into a Mavis Auto place. They gave me a jump for free. Amazing. See, that's the thing. It's like, that's an annoying circumstance to be in, and it's probably fucking frustrating, but you had the self-awareness in that moment to be like, no, I'm not accepting this. This is going to be sorted out somehow. Okay, I'm going to take the inspired action to walk down the street, calm down, and then bam, your reality shifted and you were able to get it all happening for free. Incredible. I love that. I love when stuff happens like that. Seriously, like when I have clients and they're like, you know what, like I was materializing a thing with an SP, and I just decided one day out of nowhere, I'm going to go shopping or whatever it was like a few suburbs over or into the city or whatever, far away from home. They're like, oh, it was my day off. I was going to go for lunch and I was going to like just go shopping. And I thought, oh, I'll go to this supermarket because we don't have that around where I am, all of this stuff. And then that's how they ended up bumping into their specific person who also doesn't live around that area. So how everything comes together it's hilarious to me and it's incredible. I love true crime podcasts. My mum does. I know she does. For me, it's a no-go. I don't like it. I walk into her room and she's got the most crazy shit happening on the TV. And I'm like, what are you watching? She goes, "Oh, I like when they get justice. I like when people get justice." I'm like, "Okay, cool. That's what you want to do." For me, consume like normalizing that sort of stuff in my world, because I'm big about being careful what you normalize. That would, I know, me, make me more on edge. When I'm walking home from the gym or it's starting to get dark, I'd be like, "Oh my God, people are going to come and attack me." I know that would actually change my how I'm thinking and showing up. So I kind of avoid that sort of stuff. So again, it's about like you get to decide what's okay in your world and what you don't want to be normalizing and consuming. Yeah, TV is programming because you're watching it all day, every day. So it's up to you how much you want to. I mean, you can always make the assumption that no matter what you watch, it doesn't impact your subconscious, but you have to persist in that knowing of no matter what I watch. So it's up to you how you want to do things. Again, no right or wrong. I had an inner conversation that was an argument. Ooh, I played at almost exactly, it played out almost exactly. I was getting mad, but then remembered, I thought about it. It was like, ooh, so powerful, so powerful. The energy and intensity that comes from, and the conviction, let's say it this way, the conviction that comes from an inner argument, because Lord knows I've been there. My dad has always said to me, "Selena, you should have been a lawyer. You're so good at arguing." That's what he's said to me since I was a teenager. I'm like, "I love you, Dad." That's shitty to say. So it's like the conviction you have in an argument, in an inner argument in your head, it's so fucked because like you're really like committed to it, even if it's like you're making stuff up. Like you're literally making stuff up. And like you said, it plays out exactly. That too consuming can bring you down fast. I can't hear stories about kids. Exactly. So it's like it's having that line of like, no, I can't do this. Yeah, my mother, I have no idea how she consumes. She loves it. She loves all of that sort of stuff. Uh, no, thank you. Even the news for me is a little bit too much. But it's again, it's deciding how much you want to consume and what you want to consume. And it's not about having to be perfect and going like some people are like, "Oh, I don't wanna listen to rap music anymore because, like, it's too much," or, "I don't wanna listen to heartbreak songs because, like, that's just, like, it's making me feel shit." So it's like, just be aware of how things are changing your feeling state. For me, it's always interesting because I do acting. It's like, I have this belief where it's like, "Ooh, do I really want to be marinating in something when it comes to a role that I wouldn't want to experience in my reality?" Because your subconscious mind doesn't know any different. So it's like, do I want to choose a part where, I don't know, knock on wood, this isn't going to happen. Someone gets very sick that I know, or someone dies that I know, and I like want to keep in order to like step into that version, embody that character, because that's what we're doing anyway when it comes to manifestation. Do I want to spend all my free time focusing on that? And that's a question I still ask myself. So yes, I'm finding my own answers around that. And that might be why there has been blocks in regards to auditions coming in. Sometimes there's heaps of auditions coming in, sometimes there's very little. And I'm like, okay, I need to get a little bit more clarity around what I want to do when it comes to acting, because how much, and again, you can kind of, now I'm talking aloud and thinking, it's like, well, you get to decide what roles you want to take. Like if you just want to do action or comedy or whatever and not do drama pieces or not do thrillers, then cool. People make great fucking living doing very, pardon me, surface level easy roles. Like, I mean, what does The Rock fucking do? Jack shit. And look how much money he's making. He's him in every single thing. And then they're like, um, but it's exciting when you realize you caused it. Like, well, dang, if I can do that, I can do anything. Yeah. It's seeing that. I manifested it. After this, I was meant to go on a little day trip with my sister, and she just messaged me then. She's like, "I'm not coming. I'm so sorry." I knew it. I manifested it. Oh well, it's gonna be a day just for me. I grew up in Brooklyn. I need my rap music, as negative as it can be. Hello. You do the same thing I do, knock on wood, but I knock my own head. I don't know why I do it. I grew up Catholic, and my mum has always said, like, I'm not Catholic anymore, but growing up Catholic, she's always like, anyone who believes in Jesus isn't superstitious. I'm like, okay, so then why am I gravitating towards this? I don't know, just habit. I don't think I'm superstitious. I don't know why I do it. That's so funny how that pushed out. Olivia Murillo. Why you do this to me? It was going to be so much fun. I love hanging out with my sister. I was watching one of your videos and was curious about the bridge mention. What is a bridge? Okay, I'll get into that. Great question. Okay, so she didn't sleep very well. Okay. Bridge, your bridge of events. So you can see it as bridge of events, bridge of incidents. It's a term I believe that has come from Neville, like from reading all his stuff. Yeah, because I don't think it's anyone else. I think it is a Neville Goddard thing. I always forget where all this information comes from. I mean, there is never any new information because we're all one consciousness. So bridge is just the unfolding. You can see it as literally an actual literal bridge, and where you're here and your manifestations on the other side. And every single event, every single piece of thing that happens in the 3D is just another board on your wooden bridge to make it happen. So the reason why I like that analogy is it's like you're always on your path. You never fallen off track. No matter if it feels like fucking shit is happening in the 3D, it's all working out for you somehow. So that's what I mean by bridge of events, bridge of incidents. It's all unfolding, whether it's like a flat bridge, a fucking curved bridge, whatever. I intend that makes sense. Because we can't see how it's all going to unfold. It might be a really long bridge. It might be a really short bridge. It might be a fucking curvy, windy path. Like if you want to see it as a path rather than a bridge, and each time you feel like you fucked up, you never go off track. You just get like rerouted or rerouted, whatever you Americans say. Like it's a detour. You just come back on track. Like you, not back on track. You come back to like, it's always the path. It always is. So you never go back to square one. I really want to emphasize that. You never go back to square one because you've changed who you are. So even if the circumstance seems like the same, if you know you changed your internal world, then it's actually not the same because you're not going to interact with that circumstance the same. Therefore, you've actually shifted. And that's a huge thing. That's a huge fucking thing. Really anchor into the progress that you've made within yourself. This 3D will catch up. The more you focus on the fact, like, oh, fuck, I've been doing this for 6 months, a year, and this shit is still here, your focus is in the wrong place. What else do I want to riff on? That's very cool. Thank you for letting me know. You were so welcome. Okay. What do I want to touch on? I really want to. It's this. I think a lot of people are there, but I think there's also a fair few people who think you're trying to like all your attention is trying to fix someone, trying to change out here. But the reason why we do what we do is so that we can convince ourselves and we can change who we are being and showing up as. And we can kind of forget this shit, especially when you're triggered. You can hear something so much, like circumstances don't matter, so much that you like numb it out, you drown it out. It becomes like a nagging parent where you're like, yeah, I've heard it, whatever. But it's like, no, fucking embody that shit. Like circumstances don't matter. So what I am seeing, if I don't like it, this will change. I am not going to let this thing be what causes me to change who I'm identifying as. A God doesn't change who they are just because some shit is happening. You're above all circumstances, positive circumstances and negative circumstances. Like you're above all of it. Plus, everything is neutral in the eyes of a God, and you're the one who's assigning meaning at all times. So everything is always working out for you, even when it seems like it isn't. And if God doesn't vibe with you, then choose the name on the door that does. Source, higher self, energy, universe, like consciousness. It can be at the beginning, even along your journey, depending on maybe there's certain topics. Some topics people feel really comfortable manifesting in and feel comfortable knowing that they're the god and can create change. And other topics they're like, oh, like I can't really see it. So it can kind of change, but it's realizing how powerful you truly are. Like, don't get scared of your own power. Like when movement happens, like the coaching call I had, or the coaching session, because I do it in Voxer. I had this morning, it's like all this amazing movement, like incredible movement. I mean, incredible movement happened this morning, what she was recounting to me. And it's like, don't be scared of that. Manifestation is a thing. You need to start deciding to be the version of you who's, I feel safe and secure when movement happens. I feel safe and secure knowing that manifestation is a thing and trusting manifestation. When you don't truly know your power, you can get shocked that movement actually happened. It's like, well, duh, manifestation is a thing. I've gotten to this point now where something quite major, like I was saying in my membership on Monday or yesterday, about a certain manifestation that has pretty much like just dropped out of nowhere. And an old version of me would have freaked out and been like, oh my God, this has fucking happened. Whereas now it's just like, oh yeah, when I looked at my phone and I saw that it was like unfolding, I was like, oh yeah, duh. Of course it did. And then an old version of Selena would have been like, oh my God, it's happened. What happens if it goes backwards? Or what happens if I can't sustain it? And it's like, that's just not who I am anymore. I trust this work so much. I trust manifestation. I know it's working out for me. I've lost all faith in so much. This is all I have and has taken me. I've lost all faith. I've lost all faith in so much. This is all I have and has taken me out of my depression. Good or bad circumstances, I see I placed them there. I'm sorry, what do you mean by that? You're in a depression? Has taken me out of my depression. Ah, okay, yes. I've lost all faith. That has thrown me. I've lost all faith in so much. This is all I have and has taken me out of my. What do you mean by that? I hope you're okay. What do you mean by that? Do you have to do group challenges on some of your lives? Do you mean in this live or do you mean in my membership? The group, so the group coaching that I haven't recently, no, I haven't done any challenges. It's more group coaching style, which I love. And it's amazing to be able to get to know people more on a one-to-one. And I do that in my Facebook group. It's a really nice intimate group at the moment. So people get a fair amount of time. I think I spend like at least an hour in the group just answering people's questions and stuff. Um, it's like pedaling fast on a bike when you realize how fast you're moving and you get scared and wobble. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hi there. I hope you're well. That's okay. Don't worry. You can watch the replay. Yeah, like don't freak yourself out when you realize how powerful you truly are. It's like, okay, I feel a bit freaked out now. That's okay. Let's come back to some kind of stability. Do we need to do breath work or meditation or EFT tapping? Or do I just need to decide like it's all good? Take some deep breaths. I've got this. I'm the version of me who trusts manifestation works, who feels secure with movement, like I said, who is comfortable with your manifestations coming in lightning fast. Because a lot of people, again, this could be a limiting belief, but an observation I'm seeing is like, how do I want to word this? Their programming is they're so used to being in shit and being in a fearful state. It feels crap to be in this victim state, but it's familiar. And so there's a bit of like practice and repetition that is required in order you to stand in conviction with no, I actually feel great. This feels good. I trust in my own abilities and I trust this is working because for some people they think stressing and worrying about something is being productive and it fucking isn't. It's like I use the silly analogy of like you stressing and worrying about something is like you've bought a bunch of stationery that you just never use and never open and you think you're being organized. And you think you've got your life together because you bought a new bloody journal and a pen and a rule line stickers and whatever and you just never use it and you think, "Oh my god, I'm so organized." It's like, "Well, that was dumb. Why did I spend my money on that?" And it's the same as like you stressing. You think you're doing something productive, but you're not. You're literally wasting energy and creating more. Don't stress. It's all good. I mean, I lost faith years ago. Manifesting spirituality has taken me out of my depression. Oh, I love that for you. Yeah, because manifesting geez, I need to be wearing my glasses. I said fat, I meant fast. Yeah, I thought so. um Manifestation, especially like how I kind of see it and how I practice it in my life, like it's so much about like I'm in control here. This is amazing. I'm in charge of my own destiny. Like, I'm creating this life for me. How empowering is that? This isn't woo woo shit. This is so important. Like, I want everyone to know about this work. If I knew this as like a 4-year old, a 5-year old, oh my God. Where do you recommend to begin start with manifestation? What's step one? Years ago, I lost a major manifestation because it came in so quick and fast. I crumbled. Nothing good has come in since. Okay, so the state you're in is very much a version of a victim state. I'm just going to be honest with you. And that's why you're seeing things as nothing good has come in since. So I don't know what the major manifestation is, but that's how you're seeing things is the glasses you have currently is kind of victim state. The fact that you have an internet connection, you have a laptop, a phone, that's amazing stuff. Good stuff is happening. The fact that I'm assuming you're healthy, you sound very articulate, you're still into this work. Like, there's so much good that is happening, but you're choosing to see that, like, and I don't even know anything about your circumstances. You're choosing to really like, oh, nothing is working. It's like, no, actually, there's a lot working. We just need to might refine a couple stuff in regards to self concept and how you're seeing yourself with a particular topic. So, where do you recommend to start with manifestation? Who you're deciding to be as? Come back to just do an inventory of do an inventory of how you see yourself and start looking at how you see a certain topic. It gets to be that simple. It's like, what are the dominant stories you're telling yourself? Get clarity on that, and then you can decide what your process is. So, that's what I would recommend. It's like, it gets to be that simple. What's the shit you're telling yourself on a daily basis that doesn't feel good? What's the shit you're telling yourself on a daily basis in regards to money, relationships? Like, get clear on it. Like, what is it that feels shit and that you want to change? And then simply make steps towards changing that. It gets to be that simple, honey. And I really hope that you see that it's always been working out for you. I promise. And what I can see is, pardon me, I lost a major manifestation because it came in so quick and fast. There might be some work, there might be some refinement, let's just say, in regards to you feeling comfortable and secure and confident that, like, no, manifestation is a thing. This works. I get to keep and maintain my manifestations. That's the thing. You want to materialize in something, but then you want to maintain it. I know, I wish I knew this when I was younger. I'm teaching my kids. Oh, I love that. They're really good at getting out of school. They're really good at getting out of school. That's funny. That's funny. I would have used my manifestation powers to do that too. Oh, that's funny. Can you imagine teaching a kid about manifestation and that they're so good? And because kids really, really like believe in what you tell them, there's very little limiting beliefs. Being able to get out of school, revising their grades, getting the teacher to they're the favorite, that they're always having pizza parties or whatever you do as a kid, having extra playtime. Like, how hilarious would that be? Being able to, like, if someone is bullying them and being mean to them, being able to recreate that person where that doesn't happen. Like, all the trauma people experience in school, because what, you spend like 18 years in school at least, all of that just wouldn't be a thing. How amazing. Or like, say they do sports, like co-curricular activities, and they're so confident within themselves that they can score the goal, they can beat their PB, that they're the best and they can do things. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Especially like a child, like a I think I said this in a past live. I believed, because I grew up Catholic, I really believed prayer was like, it was a thing. Anything I prayed for, I'd be getting like this. Like, adults would be asking me to pray and giving. I remember oldies, like all my mom's like older friends who were like elderly would be paying me like $5 and $10 to pray for them for their surgery or whatever, because I really believed that I had this channel to God, and that's what I thought, he would answer my prayers. And I'm like, I want to tap back into that, because it was so quick as well. It was so quick because there was no resistance. And I'd say to mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, mom, it worked. So yeah, teach your kids, teach those around you. This only will help everyone. Self belief and self concept and just empowering yourself. Wow, incredible. All right, let's riff on one more thing, and then I'm going to love you and leave you. Um, Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about self-soothing. A lot of your manifestation techniques are all just about self-soothing. You're deciding to be a version of you who feels better. You're deciding to be a version of you who knows that you're going to get what you want, or you're deciding to be a version of you who knows that you have what you want. So everything you're doing is just about self-soothing, is about soothing yourself and moving yourself out of the victim state. And just having this awareness of like, the reason why I have these thoughts is because of the state I'm in. It's not because I'm a piece of shit. It's not because I'm broken. It's not because I have all these things I need to fix. It's not because manifestation isn't a thing. It's just I'm thinking and feeling this way, and my experience is this way, and I'm interpreting what is happening, not to me, but what is happening in my reality as it's happening to me. I don't have any control because of the state I'm in. So it's finding ways to self soothe yourself and being like, no, I've got this. It's all good. Okay, how can I fucking self soothe myself? What are some tools that I have in my toolkit? Like breath work, meditation, EFT tapping. I always say that, but like, have a bath, play on your phone for a bit, watch Netflix, distract yourself, go talk to friends. Oh, I just thought of something. Be careful of what you gossip about and vent about. One of my beautiful clients was saying she identifies as someone who's a bit of a gossip girly. I'm not someone who gossips. I just generally don't give a fuck about gossip because you only gossip about stuff that's a problem. You only gossip about stuff you don't have. And when it comes to manifestation, I have what I want, or I know I'm going to get what I want. And there's never a problem in my reality. So there's no point in me gossiping. Plus, if I'm gossiping about other people, they're a reflection of me. So if I'm speaking poorly about someone, again, you don't have to be a saint, but if I'm speaking poorly about someone, they're probably reflecting something within me or an assumption I have about them. So just be mindful that if you're in this dynamic with friends where all you do is fucking bond over gossiping, is that the healthiest? Is that keeping you stuck in a version you don't want to be? Is that really nice? Is that really being your best self? Probably not. Again, you don't have to be a saint, but you get to decide what you want to marinate in. Don't like hold in your feelings and obviously tell people if you need help. But be careful what you're gossiping about and venting about over and over and over and over again. Like, as much as people want to paint women as like, oh, they're super gossips, I know a bunch of fucking men who love a gossip. I love a gossip because it's this sense of like superiority. Rather than feeling like you have control over your own reality by talking shit about other people, going, "Oh my god, tell me, tell me, tell me, spill all the tea." You're like you're actually placing everyone down here while you gossip and you're up here. But like it's very fleeting because then what ends up happening is because of the state of being you're in, you might hear shit that actually triggers you. You might hear stuff about your ex-partner or a friend or a family member or someone's doing this. And like you feel superior for a minute because, yeah, they're a piece of shit. But like it doesn't make you feel good, especially if you're recreating something and you're recreating someone. I grew up being taught you had to be a saint for God to answer your prayers, and I always thought I was ignored. Aw. When I tell my friends about self concept, they get mad and think I'm being arrogant. Let them. And they might be a reflection of like, there might be some thoughts lingering, and you can decide this for yourself of like, if I'm confident, it's going to trigger people. If I'm if I know my worth, it's going to trigger people. People won't like that. So maybe you want to clean up some stuff around there. If you don't, cool. You get to be your best self. And again, lead by example. When you're your best self and you're confident, like confident people who know their worth treat people well. Like when I eat, everyone fucking eats. Do you know what I mean? Because I look after the people who like I care about. And happy people do good in the world. Let's see, where was I up to? Exactly. Stop talking about it to others. Yeah, you don't have to talk about your manifestations. If a friend brings it up, like if you're manifesting an ex-partner or whatever it is, and they're like, "Oh, this person's doing this shit on socials," it's like, "Thank you for like your concern, but like I just don't want to speak about it anymore. Please don't tell me." For future reference, so I'm not late again. What day or time week does these? When do? Oh, honey, I don't even fucking know. When do these meditation musing lives usually happen? I'm going to work on my inventory this week. Yes, please do. No, I do it when I feel called to, or when I have a space outside of my coaching sessions, to be honest. I know that it's kind of like, I'm like, oh, I feel like most of my viewers are on the other side of the world. I don't know how many Aussies or people in the Southern Hemisphere watch my stuff. So I try and do it where there's a time where other people, like especially the US, can watch. Um, but also for Europe to watch as well. I'm Canadian. Oh, we love that. I don't gossip about people I know, but I do realize that I pay attention to discuss celebrity gossip, unfortunately. Again, you can decide, like, you don't have to be a saint. And, like, if you want to talk about celebrities, great, but use it as, like, I like to see it as, use it as, especially celebrities, because celebrities can be messy. It's really interesting to see certain things play out. Some people have really great, strong self concept in regards to money and business, and it's fucking shit in regards to relationships and stuff like that. Like you can see it, for example, with the Kardashians. Um, they have great money mindset, great beliefs around business, but then when it comes to men, when it comes to themselves in relationships, whatever it is, there's a lot that they need to clean up. When it comes to Taylor Swift, and not just female examples, I don't know, when it comes to, you can even look at the beliefs of Andrew Tate if you want to and unpack all that. Like it's just very interesting to see. There are I'll say it this way, there are very few A-lister celebrities that I would look up to and be like, holy shit, you've got your whole life together. And you can kind of see it in how long people stay with one another and how much they're kind of in the spotlight and whether they need to be in the spotlight or how much drama they're causing. Like you can see all their beliefs play out. And it's just very, very interesting. Behind lol, I used to love true crime, but lately I've been so turned off by it. I don't like how it makes me feel. Yeah. And that's the thing, because you're always changing. Because there was a version of you who like, oh, this resonates with me so much. And now you're kind of like, oh, is it a little icky because you're constantly evolving. So your tastes are going to change. Yeah, guys love to gossip too. I usually excuse myself and leave whenever the topic turns to gossips. Yeah, good for you. That's what I do too. I don't tend to, I'll be honest, I tend to be a bit kind of ruthless with who I hang out with. I will cut people off rather than recreate them, and I probably should recreate them, but I just don't have the energy to do that. I love my family so much, especially my sister. Like when that message came up of like, oh, I can't come today, I'm like, I have so much fun with you. That's annoying. Um, and because we're constantly laughing, and especially like me, mum, and my sister, all we do is talk manifestation. Like all we do is talk. And that's why I joked and I was like, I need to start these live streams because I am chewing the ears off of my family members because I'm like, and I thought about this and this happened and this happened and this example with a client and this is how this unfolded and blah, 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 blah. Like my sister is crazy at manifesting. She is the queen of competitions. The amount of competitions that she has fucking won. I mean, we won a car. Like I won a car. Like we're winning all the time. It's incredible. Where is it? If I'm going to be confident, I'm going to trigger somebody. You always drop gems. Oh my God, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah, and that's a belief. That's a belief. You can see it as like, no, like I'm a version of me, or I'm in a reality where I'm confident and people love it. People are inspired by my confidence. And see how, okay, this is something I want to touch on. So when it's about states, okay, and it's about who you're identifying as, your assumptions about you, your assumptions, and let's talk about relationships here. Your assumptions about you in general, your assumptions about you in relationships, your assumptions about relationships in general, your assumptions about the other person, and maybe your assumptions about manifesting. All of that, all those four types of assumptions, let's call it, are all about you, are all how you see yourself. Because what you assume in another, they're you at the end of the day. They're just reflecting your inner world. Yes, that's not to say that they're puppets or anything like that, but like you're going to see them in a certain way because from like from my perspective, you're all in my reality. And from your perspective, I'm in your reality. So we're going to be like intermingling in our realities. And so therefore, how you see someone else and the story you have about someone else is how you see yourself. So just be aware of that. Yes, the Kardashians were born in proximity to wealth, so they've seen wealth and doesn't scare them, but I don't think they saw healthy relationships. 100%, I agree with that. Wealth was normalized for them, like you said, but healthy relationships weren't a normal thing. Yeah, like their parents, I don't know, they're divorced. I think Chris had said she had cheated and blah blah blah. I don't know if the dad had cheated. I can only imagine the whole OJ stuff. I don't know if they were born. I think they were. Maybe the eldest were born. That whole saga, maybe that traumatized a few of them. Holy fuck! Like I think they were friends, weren't they? And then the dad was was the lawyer. Like all of that, of course, is going to have an impact on you as a kid. But again, you get to decide whether you're going to continue to allow that programming to be what you recreate. I just hope that some of them find manifestation videos and law of assumption videos and realize that they can change everything about themselves. And also, okay, I want to kind of touch on this. Love your lives. Thanks for doing them. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so glad. They really hype me up. So I really hope they hype everyone else up. So thank you for the feedback. It's interesting that, okay, so now I'm thinking about celebrities. It's like some celebrities think they have to be traumatized or they have to be going through it in order to create art, or they're going to channel all their emotions through art, or maybe it's like, because it would be interesting, for example, let's use Taylor Swift as an example, because she's a very big example of someone who really, any partnerships, she is happy to kind of dish the dirt or throw a bit of shade to them in songs, or she uses that in her songs. So it'd be interesting to see what her beliefs are in regards to the success is super high, her fulfillment in relationships never seems to last or doesn't seem to, and again, nothing wrong with her, doesn't mean she's a bad person, but it's just interesting to see the different dynamics and whether she has a belief or for example, maybe there's someone else who's like that, if you can think of a celebrity example who, oh, I have to kind of be going through it, or people really resonate to my breakup songs, or I'm really successful in my career, but I'm never successful in my relationships at the same time. Like what that thinking is would be really interesting to kind of unpack. And no one will truly know. Only she knows her thinking. And whether there's maybe a thinking with celebrities where it's like, oh, having a healthy, normal life doesn't really give me much fuel to put into my work, or people aren't really going to connect with the sober version of me or the happy, healthy version of me, because what am I going to actually sing about? Or what am I actually going to, I don't know, whatever their medium is, paint about or whatever. Just really fucking interesting. Because I know, speaking from experience, there are a lot of interesting, crazy characters in the acting world, especially here in Sydney. So I try and distance myself. Can you talk about winning competitions? I've been entering a few cash competitions, but I feel like I'm messing with the how. Should I focus on being financially stable? Thanks. I also won a holiday last week. Yay! I just decided, and I guess I had no resistance to it, so I'm confused on what to do. Okay, so that's a really interesting question that you brought about. One, okay, first of all, you want to see yourself as you're the competition queen or the competition king. I'm the version of me who literally I have no resistance to winning competitions. I'm winning competitions left, right, and center. I'm always chosen. I'm chosen over other people. Like that's kind of the self-concept and the thinking you want to have in regards to competitions. Money is so easy for me to materialize. Holidays are so easy. I'm always being given stuff. Whatever. I always win first prize, whatever the self concept is that you need to have in regards to competitions. That's what I would say first of all. And the second thing is just because you want to materialize an experience, like how do I say this? Just because you want to materialize an experience doesn't mean you're fucking with the how. If you're seeing competitions as your only way to get financially stable, that would be messing with the how. However, if you're like, I just want to win the fucking competition because why the fuck not? And I want to have this experience, then personally, I don't see that as messing with the how. I think that's like just because you decide you want to have that experience. You're like, no, I'm going to get that. Amazing. That's what I would say. It's like I want to win the lottery because yeah, I want to win the lottery. I want the money and I also want to win the lottery and that's going to be cool. Like you get to decide to have that experience. That's not messing with the how. You can if you want to, if you just want to be like, oh, I want to be financially stable and focus on that, great. It's interesting though, you brought up that you were able to win a holiday because there was no resistance. But when it comes to, you then said, but should I be focusing on being financially stable? There must be a little bit more resistance in regards to winning money that you might want to kind of tweak. That would be my suggestion. So don't feel confused. You can be, remember, there is a version of you who's financially stable and is also winning all these competitions. There's a version of you who's winning holidays left, right, and center and also winning money. There's also a version of you who's totally confused and doesn't know what to do. So let's not go to this confused version of you and let's decide who you're being. It's like you're multi manifesting all the time. Let's focus on who you want to be. Like if you want to manifest both, great. That's what I would say to you. I intend that makes sense. Another example with Taylor is she wears t-shirts in her tour that are rude towards her own self-representation of her reputation era. I thought that was unhealthy seeing it. Ooh, I don't know about that. That's interesting though. Hmm. Okay, I got to be the job interview queen now. Yes. Not just the job interview queen. You can identify as that, but it's like, no, but I'm always being like, I'm always getting the job. Like you're always chosen. You're always the best candidate. Like you get jobs like this. You literally go to one interview and they're like, oh, I'll hire you on the spot. Because I have a lot of mental resistance to getting interviews. I'm job hunting right now. So if the first step for you is like, I'm the job interview queen, amazing. If that feels great, this might be the last thing I touch on just because I feel like my voice is going funny. And I need to go and enjoy my day as well, even though I fucking love this. Um, if the first thing for you is seeing yourself as like you're constantly booking job interviews, amazing. But I would take it a step further. Like I said, that you're the version of you who is always hired on the spot. You're the version of you who's the best candidate, who they don't even want to interview anyone else. That when you step into the room for the interview, they're like, oh yeah, we can tell the other people that we've already found her. We've already found our person. They can go home now. Or they'll just take the resumes and go, thank you, we'll be in touch to everyone else but you. Or you hear back from them the same day. Or you don't even need to go for a freaking interview. They like look at your resume or look at your photo or your profile and they're like, yep, her, that's it. She's done. She sounds great. Or you just have a phone interview and they're like, yeah, that's enough. We've already got it. So like make it easy. Don't just make it like, oh, you're constantly booking interviews. It's like, no, you're constantly booking jobs and you get to decide. You have that many options. You get to pick what job you want to be doing. And you can leverage it as well, depending on what job, like if it's corporate as well. There's a version of you who you have multiple job offers and you're like, you know what? I like this opportunity more, this company more, but they're not paying me as much as this. I'm going to leverage it and be like, hey, like I've actually been offered an opportunity with this, I don't know, let's say this bank, say you work in banking. And like, but I really want to work with you and your company and your team. Is there any wiggle room that you can make in regards to remuneration? And you can leverage it. Like everything is always working in your favor. That's what I would say. Okay, I am going to love you and leave you. Have a beautiful, it is Tuesday day here. I will let you know when the next live is. I will pop that up. I will schedule that soon. Thank you so much for co-creating this live with me. I love when the chat is popping off. Thank you so much for the advice. I wrote down notes of the affirmations and choosing my question as the last one. Aw, I'm so happy. You guys are awesome. I fucking love you all. You're killing it. Decide to be the version of you who has an incredible day and who gets movement in your manifestations, because why not? Okay, bye.